how do you shock the consciousness of the people in order for them to demand change? You need what's called an emotionally polarizing event. In the current lifestyle we live in, you are constantly bombarded with emotionally polarizing events to the point now we've become numb to them. Nobody didn't tell us that the good don't suffer. That's not true. Good don't suffer probably more than the bad. The reason why the bad normally don't suffer as much as the good is because they bold enough to step out on who they is and do they dirt in the open, straight up in your face. They don't care about none of the other rules to the game because they're down applying they apply will to deviate from the course that the game was telling them to follow.
Exactly.
You don't know nobody that's all good or nobody that's all bad. I done sat at the table across from serial killers and seen cold death in their eyes. And all of the time, they are just happy to be in my presence, make me feel good. Right? So ain't nobody all good, ain't nobody all bad. And every event is to use as a marker to determine what needs to be changed in the society. If you want the innocent to stop getting killed, you got to put an end to the war. Because then you don't have collateral damage when you're not at war. Right? And now you have to figure out who is the warring faction so that you can negotiate the peace between the two.
Exactly.
Right? And it's an ongoing balancing of energies throughout your life, and the better you become, the higher your spiritual rank is until you get to the point where you at the pinnacle, at the top of the pyramid, the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
Right? Because you become Cyclops, the one-eyed giant, standing on the shoulder of other giants. You can see further than them all. Right? And this is how the energy doesn't discriminate against who we think is good or bad. The energy is going to execute the program regardless of who's standing in the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why Mama used to say bullets ain't got no name on them. Until they got a name on them.
Rod, you cold-blooded. You ain't have to say that at the end of the show. You said Mama said bullets ain't got no name. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Bullets ain't got no name until somebody put a name on them.
Listen, gentlemen, I gotta say this. This was an absolutely amazing. You know, you got black people stress the amazing show. Oh my God, I loved it. Y'all loved it. Yo, listen, Rod Hayes, 7 Beaumont, and Rod Hayes, what's your Cash App, brother? Because I know you somebody asked earlier. I know you. What's your Cash App, brother?
Me?
Yeah.
$sign SikApe, SIKAPE. Mine is the one that was started in 2017. If you get confused, it's the oldest one of them because it got some people that be trying to, do that player hater stuff.
Oh, I know the scam artists out there. Is SikApe what? I'm gonna write it in the chat. SikApe what?
$sign SIKAPE, capital S and the capital A.
And 7, you're in Costa. You don't deal with Cash App, right?
No, I mean they can, really just check out the app. You know what I mean? We're here, and yeah, man. I just want to also say, man, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Like I didn't know what to expect, but greatness from the show.
Yeah,
we're coming in. It's already it's December 19th. Man, this year went by fast.
Super fast.
We already in January almost. So this sets the pace really nice.
Hey, let me ask you this. I know I said that was the last one. Is there any reason, or am I looking too deep into it, why they're releasing Lion King around the winter solstice? They're releasing Lion King again. Some people may not.
The Lion King, the story of Osiris. Right? In the Christmas solstice.
The movie Mustafa, for those who don't know. Right, yeah.
But that's the story of Heru rising up to become Osiris. The son becomes the father ruler on the throne. The winter solstice is the lowest energy of the planet at that time.
Mhm.
That's why it's the winter solstice, it symbolizes the death of Earth, and then spring comes and she's born again.
Mhm.
Right? So they coincide with telling the story of the fallen father in the underworld as he fight his way through the hero's journey, following the fool's journey, as above, so below.
Mhm.
And as the father make his journey through the underworld, the son rises up in the physical world.
Mhm.
Right? So it's all symbolism based off ancient Kemetic science, right? The holy drama, the Osirian resurrection story. So this is what the whole Mufasa, that's why the Rafiki took the cub to the water and he seen his father's face in his reflection.
Mm. Yeah.
The son becomes the father.
Yeah. Indeed. Excellent. Listen, family, we're getting out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you support Rod Hayes on the Cash App. Make sure y'all support Seven Beaumont with the links I posted in the chat. I am indefinitely getting the AI masterclass. I want to support you, Seven. I don't want you to say, I'll give it to you, Rich. Don't worry. No. I want to support Seven. I don't want to hear that. Brother Rich, y'all said, don't worry. No. I want to support my brother. Because that's how we do. You know what I'm saying? And what he does, I keep telling y'all, it's so important. We don't have nobody in that space like that. I don't want to say.
It was the brother that created AI in the beginning anyway.
Exactly.
It was the brother who created the cell phone in the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
Even it was when the brother that created the internet.
Yeah. When I first woke up, there was a dude in the barbershop with me in Atlanta. And that's why I'm saying Atlanta got something going on too. When I was even at the comedy club, as I mentioned, everybody that was in that room ended up becoming something. So there's always something else going on if you're paying attention. But I was always getting my hair cut at the barbershop, and I wasn't at where I'm at all, but I always kind of had something going on. Right. This dude was coming all the time in a bulletproof Mercedes. He was just sitting there. And I guess he just got so tired they listened to me not know what I was talking about. He was like, look, man, did you know Black man created the first laser disc? A Black man created the first computer chip. He said, man, I went up in a mineralized cloud with some indigenous men, and 1,000 years seemed like one day, right? So he was just going in about all this, right? And I'm thinking like, I like this, what he's saying, but I definitely don't believe it. So check it out. It's always an anniversary for me on December 22nd, because that's when the whole thing happened to me. It was the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th, in that range, which we're about to go over right now. When I was done with that process, the first person I was looking for was that guy, because it seemed like he was the only one that I had come in contact with that seemed to know something about what was going on with the activation. So I asked my barber, I was like, yo, I need to talk to that dude. I found the dude's name is Winston. That's all I was able to find out. He said, Winston? And I said, yeah. He said, are you sure you want to talk to Winston? Because what you're telling me, you may not want to talk to Winston. And I said, why? He said, well, and if I get the story straight, he was like, when Malcolm had the court case, basically, none of the attorneys will represent him. So the government sent in Winston. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? So basically it was saying, hey, these people but I'm just saying that all these are touch points. So you'll be around people they're already aware of what's going on. They already aware of these higher levels of consciousness. Like Rod, he was hitting on something he was hitting on something beautiful today, which is about the families. Mm-hmm. Like in understanding, like he said, you got to figure out how to negotiate as a sovereign your own treaty with these ruling family skirmishers, right? To put a pathway in for your people, your ancestors, your lineage. You see what I mean? So that's really all of what this is doing for us too, is it's bringing us to another level of, instead of being like children under surrogate parents waiting for Santa to come, and Superman, he also released today, Superman to come save the thing. It's more of like us just powering up into the reality of who we are, who our ancestors was, better or worse, and then standing in that, standing on the shoulders of those giants and continuing to move through, and then showing how when we get into these spaces, like they already say, hey, like I own text to image.ai, I own generative systems.ai and those systems, because those domains, because I knew how valuable they were when the whole thing started. But the reality is that I still haven't seen anybody doing AI like us. It's like, I mean, it's like when we get in there, we seem to be able to expunge. Like if this thing can create a picture, we figure out how to make it create the best picture. And that's what we kind of bring out of anything. And that's what I'm trying to encourage everybody. Like, yo, remember, it's when something has a lot of power, for sure. You're gonna find folks using it for terrible things. They're doing it now. But if we can get more people that are activated, aware, and engaged into using things, it's lowering the barrier entry for them, and they're able to go in and create stuff that we've been expecting to happen in this world. That's what I'm seeing it as. So yeah, I mean, just giving thanks to the tribe, giving thanks to everybody that joined in. It was man, I saw the chat. The chat was lit. Like I clicked back in there and that thing just went.
The chat was moving. The chat was moving and booming tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We had 4,000 people the whole 2.5 hours. 4,000 people. Y'all stayed here the entire time. Listen, I appreciate y'all. 7 Beaumont, Rod Hayes, classic show. We got to do.
That's real. Ain't no coincidence. I see it in everything now, to the point where I be feeling like paranoid. I be like, come on now, you can't think of everything. Got to be symbolism.
Well, stop telling yourself that, because that's where the paranoia comes from. If you go back to Elijah Muhammad said there's been thousands and thousands and thousands of signs. This shit is about to be a wrap. Elijah Muhammad said that back in the 60s. Right? So how many more signs has been given to us since then? So it's a lot of signs that we haven't been reading. We just been letting them go past, trying to fit into the society that was designed to oppress us.
Yeah, put a cage on my mind, basically. Because once I remove that prison of a thought process, then I'm able to really tap in and allow that to become a part of my intuition. But sometimes, like I said, because I'm like, damn, that can't be a sign. Because like literally, it's like all day numbers. On top of that, it's like numbers, to the point where I don't even look up the meaning of numbers anymore, because I know them all by heart.
So that's when you start using numerology and gematria in real time, and that even fines tune the message. So the message becomes easier to assimilate when you understand what numbers mean. Because this is why you wear a watch. This is why you're supposed to wear a watch. We got cameras on our phone. Clocks on our phone now, because the every second of the day is a new set of numbers. Think about that. Every second of the day is a new set of numbers. And those same numbers several times a day are anagrams of one another. Those are what you call connection points. Right? So 24 hours in a day, but 12 months in a year. Right? So they say one day to the year. That means it took a whole year for it to happen. So in 12 and 24 is 36, and 3 and 6 is 9, and that's the turnaround.
Right. And 12 is 3. 24 is 6. And you add them together, then you get 9.
Yep. Because it got to be able to work frontwards and backwards in order for it to fit into an accurate read. Right? So the 369 is a code. It's a universal code for turning something around, or when you get to what we call 3-point convergence, that's GPS. So you need 3 points of convergence in order to get past the 2-point coincidence factor. Anything more than 2 is no longer coincidence. That means that, pay attention, this is a real sign. right? That's how GPS need 3 points of convergence to get you to your location.
What do they call it?
Triangulation.
Triangulation. There it is. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's why when you see, like when I watch a tarot card reader, I can read more into the cards than she reading because I'm starting with how long did it take her to do this read? What do those numbers mean? Okay. Now, what's the title of the spread? Right? Because that's the theme. That's the mission statement. Right? So the mission, under the mission statements is the details of the mission. Right? We call it the question and answer, or the query and the response. The universe is telling us something. We use an oracle means to focus the energy in, like lights going through a magnifying glass, until we can explain clearly what it is that we see. The more things that we know the meaning of, the more accurate we can get an oracle read. That's what this question right here. The answer to that is that was before the
I can't talk to you how I can talk to them, and then let the people who close to you relay it to you. You got a problem with me, so let me call a man. Since you don't respect me enough to talk to me like a woman, I'm gonna call a man and you talk to him like that. I bet you won't. He got an attitude. He stormed off. It was crazy. But I see what you said about all skin
did he
folks and
snap
kin
his
folks.
fingers? Did he snap his fingers in
No,
the
he did
zigzag
this.
motion
He
on
was
his
doing
way?
this. He was doing this. No, this. But I'm like, are you clapping at me? I'm like, yeah, no, what you got to do is stop talking to me like you crazy, boy. I was like, I'm going to call a guy and you can talk to him. He's like, no, I'm going to call my sisters. I'm like, okay, you go and do that. All skin folks, not kin folk, and they showing their colors. If you listen close, even the women that aren't on your side, they show colors immediately. It's not a compliment to tell anybody that, oh, I'm jealous of that. Oh, like, that's not a compliment. You speak.
As soon as I hear the word jealous, it's a red flag to me. Dirty motherfuckers is on their way.
Pretty much. That's my question. The Pope in China, why is he in jail? Did you hear that? The Pope? Yeah, one of the popes, one of the priests, like one of their grand priests is in jail.
Probably for being a fag. Probably touching on little boys. I don't know. I didn't see nothing about it. But 9 out of 10, if they true to form, he probably was touching on one of them little Japanese boys over there, and to keep the Yakuza and the samurai from beheading his motherfucking ass, they decided to lock his punk ass up, dress wearing son of a bitch.
I cannot. Okay, next question is, I am going about my tribe. Now, am I doing this because I'm trying to elect a leader? I don't feel like I have learned my craft enough to lead. So how many people should be in my matriarch to begin with? I don't want it to be too many. Right now, I have 4, and I feel like that's not a good number. I want it either 3, 6, or 9. What's a good number?
You already said you don't need me to answer it. You just got to accept the answer for yourself that you gave yourself, which is going to make you be more powerful than if I give you a number. Okay. Look, Big Mama be talking to y'all, and y'all be second guessing her. I don't second guess her. I know when she's talking to me. So look, listen to your heart. When you feel something, trust what you feel to guide you correctly. And the one thing about it, you are not allowed to lie to yourself for one reason. You don't know you fucking lying. So when you tell yourself you need the right answer, you got to give yourself the right answer, and you got to give yourself the time to let your higher self put the pieces together, and then you'll be going about your day, and an answer occur to you with the reason.
Okay.
Right? So your power is the palm chakras. That's why they have you hold hands in church.
Okay.
Because the palm chakras but you're not holding hands properly in the church in order to get the maximum effect of the chakra alignment, because the fingers are supposed to be interlocked like this and not the hands closed together like this. And the reason you interlock in the fingers is you have meridians at each fingertip. And then on the back of the hand, there's meridians that correspond to that. And then you got a chakra in your palm.
Yeah.
Right? So, like if you put your two hands together and lock them together, like that. When you hold hands with the sisters, hands up like that,
Okay.
just like that, that's the proper technique. Now, you see where your fingertips is touching the back of your hand?
Yes.
Those are meridian to meridian connections.
Nice.
Okay, now, in the palm of your hands is a chakra, which is an open channel.
Okay. And
So
I can
when you
feel
put,
it.
right, so when you get, and then you put your palms together in that position, and now y'all can move energy. If only one of y'all have to know how to move the energy,
That would be me.
right? And whatever y'all put on y'all intentions, whatever it do, don't do, let it be nothing malicious.
Because I get it back threefold, right?
Cause that shit coming so hard and fast. Just wish for some good shit for somebody,
Okay.
right? Now, intensify that by 10 by putting your feet on the grass in the soil.
I can make the sun come out, Rod. I've been practicing my butt off ever since.
Yeah, all you gotta do is fucking smile.
Sun.
You light the whole goddamn place up. You don't need
I
no
can make
sun.
the sun come out. Like, and another thing, because of all the electrical storms, I've been trying to tell a lot of people, because somebody somewhere is like, oh, alkali water, drink a lot of alkali water. You don't need to be a battery right now. It's all spring water right now until the electrical storms stop. Because if you notice, if you are like vibrating high, it's burning you out. You're tired. You feel like you've ran a mile. It's the alkali water. Stop drinking it. Pause for a second. Spring water.
Or distilled.
Yeah, distilled.
But
I can't find
so
distilled water. Which one is better?
it's not. It don't work like that. You got different types of water. You got more different types of water than they want to tell you, and they all do something different.
Okay, now I was watching something where they were like, "Oh, water and oils don't mix, but it's a certain water that's like so
pH 11.
pH 11, pH 11." Why I ain't had no pen and paper sitting here with you, and I know better, and I left it. pH 11, and then
I'm saving the lives. You can always come back to it.
And then there's another. How come I can't find anything on the gold that our bodies produce called penoline?
Because they don't want you to know it, because most of it is in cerebral spinal fluid. But they don't call it that when they talk about it. They call it colloidal gold or diatomic gold.
Colloidal gold, diatomic gold. Okay. Next, I know I got like a million questions because I'm always trying to request you to get on live. And I'm like, yo, you don't never. And I got like a million questions for him. All right. Now, Age of Aquarius. Everybody keeps trying to say that it didn't start yet.
It started in 2012 on the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar never was changed from the closing of the age. So when you read Edgar Casey, he tell you that around the year, between the years 2012 to 2019, a great teacher was going to come on the scene and begin to teach the world. Also, you can find the same prophecy of Nostradamus, right? So they know that the closing of the age is coming.
Okay.
Then you had the lady Blind Baba from whatever the fuck her name is from Russia, who gave the same prophecy. The eyes of three oracles having the same prophecy over a 2,000-year period is so far to impossible, and all three of them converge in and under a 200-year period or 500-year period.
That's
right?
wild.
Right. So now a lot of the skeptics, just Bible thumpers, say that the only reason they all can agree on that prophecy is because it's biblical prophecy in Revelations. Right.
Question.
But yeah,
When you're done, another question now. King James. King James's first book was a book on demons. I heard like they had.
it was called the Book of Demonology.
Yes. Now he was called.
Demons are not what they told you they was. You was lied to about what a demon is.
He went back and sold out like the true like Moorish people for a seat at the throne, and that's how he got the name King James, right? Didn't he sell like all of like the secrets and flip it upside down to put it in the Bible?
No, it was already there. Constantine in 325 AD had a group of priests assemble the Bible. All King James did was commission the scholars of the day to render it from Latin because it had became a Septuagint Vulgate Bible. And they translated it from the Latin to the English, right? And then over the years, they translate directly from the Greek in the New Testament to English and from the Hebrew in the Old Testament in Egypt. In the Old Testament as they begin to revise it. So as they revised it, they didn't refer back to the Latin. They referred back to the Hebrew and the Greek.
Okay. So was the Latin one was more true to self?
No, the Latin one was the one that King James had translated. It was originally in Hebrew and Greek text because the Nicene Council was so-called Hebrews and Greeks.
Okay.
But they was melanated like me and you.
All skin folk and kin folks. Okay, got that. Now, next question. Manly P. Hall. His book on the secret teachings of all times.
Secret Teachings of All Ages.
Of all, yes. It's that book. I find that book is like a really good reference point to other books. I felt like he kept it like totally 100 in the book. Is there another book that would be comparable to that book?
Madame Blavatsky's work, the Theosophy, Isis Unveiled is one, and the Secret Doctrine is the other. And then you also got Rudolf Steiner's Anthroposophy that goes into a lot, give you a lot of reference works with it. Madame Blavatsky got reference volumes that separate from the book. That's a whole book.
Okay, so I'm gonna get that. That should be my first one as a matriarch to get that book. So I can start.
No, you should study. You should be looking at tribal structures, right? And you should be looking at okay. So the modern corporate structure, a corporation, all of the board members is the structure to set up the tribe.
Okay.
You assess the skill set of the people involved, and then you know what to make them a minister of.
That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's I'm like, what craft do you have? What do you bring to the foreground? Now,
a lot of people don't know.
My 3 questions. Now, in your Emerald tablets, I kind of broke it down to there's one part like you have to ask people 3 questions. It's like being a gatekeeper. Who are you? What do you want and where are you going? And depending on how they answer those questions will determine like their place in the tribe or if they should even be. Like, is there a better way?
Those are questions. Those are questions. You know what you just talked about demonology?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you an explanation about something. Let me get a drink.
Okay. Me too.
Okay. Let's say that your father was reading a book on demonology and applied the information to become successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
It worked because all the demon is a thought form, an egregore that was created a long time ago by priests to teach us how to access higher consciousness. And each one of the demons, you have to put them back on the shelf when you're done with them. If you don't, they come out in the next generation that's not using them. They get angry. You're not using it. And this is why you have to clean up the family tree. You have to be able to ask those 3 questions to the demon in order to put them in check.
But it's happening with people because I asked those 3 questions to people.
The same thing because
what you mean?
the energy, right. So the same energy that goes into creating a personality by opening up demons of the mind, which is opening up apps basically for the human psyche, that was written a long time ago by people that understood the mind on a level that very few of us do it in this era.
Okay.
right? So those are what you call watcher questions, right? Women can diffuse a lot of hostile situations with those 3 questions.
They changed my life.
Yeah, you because even in the middle of guy might be coming to rape you, and when you ask him them 3 questions, he gets so fucking confused because you called him on his bullshit before it happened. So his psyche is telling him this is the wrong one to fuck with.
Very true. So, in my library that I'm building for my yard, Rudolf Steiner's book. I need Madame Blavatsky's book, Ice on Veil, and I need books on tribal structure. And I need to.
Now, I'm gonna tell you a book that's gonna fast track the setup of a tribe, but it's the book that's a manual for setting up a coven.
Okay.
Now, the name of the book is called A Magic Circle, and the name of the author is Yaj Nomalos.
Okay. Spell that.
Nomalos and Solomon spelled backwards. That's how you're gonna know you got the right book.
Got it.
Now, remember this for all sisterhoods. The witches' books for setting up ceremonies. That's y'all shit. That's why they was murdering witches and setting them on fire, because these were the wise matriarchs that actually was able to use the powers of nature to keep them off the land. So whenever they found that they was teaching, that's when they struck the women. And they always used the woman to infiltrate them. And that's why they were doing rituals in secret.
I'm a generational scribe. Generational scribe. My family, Wausau tribe, the Mound Builders. So a lot of my aunts, and a lot of my family. I'm in Jersey, and we go to Salem a lot and everything. And when I was in Salem, like something wild happened to me.
I was talking to the sister last night on the live, and she was in New Jersey, and we was talking. I was telling her that's the side of Shakur land over there. Anybody that get out of line when she send them goons at her, don't call me, because I'm not sending no help.
I know.
Because she only gonna fuck the ones up that's fucking with the babies. That's her number one thing, because we can't come back to this shit. So the only way to not come back to it is to clean it up now. Our children shouldn't have to fight this fight. This shit should be well cleaned up. My son, 8 years old, by the time he 18, he should be worried about how to spend all this goddamn money we done made.
Very true. No,
that should be the biggest worry he have in his life.
Next question. The FBI just hired all of those black men.
Listen.
By the hundreds and thousands. What's going on?
So they are trying to matriculate them through different forms of the old government to FEMA. FEMA is short for female. The female is going to be the ones that's running FEMA. And they got a group of matriarch sisters from all communities across the land with experience in varying different fields, where this one might be in charge of animal rescue, right? This one might be in charge of disaster relief. This one might be in charge of reorganizing to feed the children.
Okay.
Right. You might have a sister that's a veteran. She's going to be part of the team that's working with the Wounded Warrior Project. Okay. Because they was doing so effectively well with the recovering soldiers that was coming home. They was doing better than the VA. All of the veteran affairs is going to be shifted over to that organization, and they're going to be heavily funded. Okay. Right? Because they understand, because it's ran by veterans that understand the struggle of the veterans. They understand. This is eventually going to phase out because we ain't going to be doing this war shit.
Thanks.
Right? But for right now, we have warriors that suffer and fought in these wars, and now we're going to be using them boots on the ground to help in the community to reorganize as we redistribute the wealth. Okay. So they bring these new recruits into all of these government agencies. All of these agencies are now defunct, been defunct for 3 years. Right? But they still using the template for a training tool to maximize the use of the experience of the aged ones who are leaving,
Okay.
right? So you take what you need from the old system so you can transition into the new system